Good and decent people of YouTube, welcome to Political Drain, where we sift through the sewage at the end of a long pipeline of corporate media in order to expose the liars and the charlatans hell-bent on manipulating you for power and for profit. My name is Bruce Lively, and no, you're not crazy. Patrick Braxton was elected the first black mayor of Newbern, Alabama in 2020. It's 2022, and he has not been allowed to be mayor. I'm going to say it again because I know that that's hard to comprehend. He has not been allowed to be mayor. How does that happen? Well, they lock the doors. They've changed the locks 3 times so far. They won't give him the money he needs, nor the financial records he needs to make any changes. They've appointed themselves back to their positions, including the old white mayor.
Patrick Braxton was elected the first African-American mayor of Newbern, Alabama, a majority black town. But the all-white city council refused to cede power. They literally locked the doors to City Hall to prevent Braxton from gaining access. He was told by a white woman that the town was not ready for a black mayor. The People's Bank of Greensboro and the city clerk barred Mr. Braxton from accessing the town's financial records and bank accounts, and the post office refused to give him the town's mail.
Look, this is hard to believe. You would think this would just be national news. You may be saying to yourself, how did this happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. Because Alabama is one of the most racist and backward places on earth. Let's see, you have Uganda in the 1970s, you have Germany in the 40s, and you have Alabama and Mississippi since forever. You see, Alabama doesn't want to see a black person elevated unless they're in a tree or on a football field. I know, you're saying to yourself, well, that's just too harsh. That's painting with a broad brush. Well, if that's the case, change it. I have no obligation to you to make you feel better about your racist and backward state. Change it. News media is going to tell you something like, well, there are a bunch of decent people there. And if that's the case, change it. Whether or not you think you're decent or not racist, I would be afraid to send my kids there because you haven't done enough to change the perception. The people you elect continue to gerrymander and try to stop the black votes. It doesn't matter how decent you are personally. If I was you and you have a problem with what I just said, change it. I would be embarrassed. I would take a day or 2 off of work to find myself in Newbern, Alabama with a picket sign. I would handcuff myself to the front door and make an entire chain of human beings around City Hall until something was changed. And I would make sure that no black people were allowed to be in my chain so everyone on TV could see that white people care in Alabama. And after you did that, you wouldn't have done enough to change it yet. You'd just be starting. Your brand new black mayor in the big city over there is nullified by this action. We have no obligation to make you feel better about yourself. Even Georgia has lost its stench because of continued participation in decency and uprising and backlash and fighting back and standing with black people for enough times that finally people say, you know what? Georgia's not what it used to be. Yeah, there's still racism there. There's still racism everywhere. But Alabama, you still have not done enough to change that perception. And I don't care, and no one else cares, that you don't think that you should be perceived that way because you haven't changed it yet. You haven't elected enough. You haven't done enough to prove that you want change. It doesn't matter that you are not racist, you and your home and your friends in your city. That's inconsequential. If I were you, out of sheer embarrassment, I would find myself in Newbern, Alabama, trying to prove that it's not the racist place that we all know it is. It's gross. Until you change it. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you the benefit of the frickin' doubt. It's not that complicated. You want to know why this happened? It's because your state is racist and backwards and ignorant. It's stupid. It's adverse to education and change and progress. If you think I'm speaking with a broad brush or I'm wrong, well then change it. It's that simple. Nobody owes you any of that respect you're waiting for. And then change it again, because it's gonna take a long time to prove it. Your radio stations are ugly, and the hosts are racist, backwards, stupid, adverse to education and decency. I've listened to them. It's gross, and they're still on the air. They infect this nation with pus that overflows into a green, racist mucus that covers the name Alabama with a film of indecency. And if you think that I am wrong, if you think that that's a bit harsh, and if you think that I'm talking about you, and you don't like it, then change it. Then change it again. Stand with those people. Until then, I'm left with no choice for my own safety to believe what I see. Because I'm not going to rely on your word. I'm still not driving through at nighttime. As long as I see a low tree limb anywhere in my sight, I'm walking the opposite way until you change it. And if you don't, no one cares that you're upset. That everyone thinks Alabama is the racist place we all know it is, because you haven't changed it. I'll see you on the next one.